about the two of you is actually a gift from God, because it's something that you pass on, and that's your friendship with us as a couple. And that for me has been a most wonderful gift, and I want to just really thank you for that. It's not just that Jim and I are best friends, but Nita and Jim were best friends, and together we're best friends. And that's never happened in my life before we met you guys. We've had good friends, but never like that. And that has been a true gift. And I want to really thank you for that. We share a whole lot of common interests and some similar kinds of histories, things that eras that we grew up in and so forth, and we had a chance to watch our families grow and care about each other's families deeply. And we both trying to make it in terms of being some kinds of artists in our own fields, which brings us another similar path to commensurate with each other about. But I mostly thank you for your friendship, and I pray that it will continue as long as we shall live.
When we first met Jim and Janalee, I was pregnant with Rachel, and now we were kind of awestruck to realize that now that they are having a 25th wedding anniversary, that daughter is married, which just sort of puts a time frame around our friendship. And in the middle of that, we've been together through a lot of the stuff that life is made of. Births of children, sickness, deaths of parents, marriages of children, grandchildren, poverty, momentary riches, more poverty, and food shopping. Now, I don't want to give the impression that food shopping defines my relationship with Janalee, but it does provide one of the more stable elements of our lives. Every Thursday morning for the last 10 or 15 years, we're not sure which, it's more than 10 and probably less than 15. We've gone to the Rogers Park Fruit Market on Thursday morning, then out for coffee. Well, what we talk about is our business. And then we go to Jewel. And if we miss a week, it feels like the cosmic order of things is out of whack. Actually, the cosmic order of things is out of whack. And in fact, some of the store clerks in Evanston don't know how to go into Friday if we haven't shown up on Thursday. As for Jim, he's been a friend, pastor, and brother all rolled into one. Actually, he's worse than my brother because he teases me unmercifully. I don't know why he picks on me so much. And every time I get him, he gets me back. But the good side of that is that you guys really, in many ways, have been closer than a brother to us. And for that, I'm very grateful. So it really is a gift to feel like no matter where you go or where we go, which someday maybe someplace else, I don't know. But it feels like this friendship is forever. So if you move to Nashville or go on a worldwide concert tour, just remember you can run, but you can't hide. One last thing. Because of Jim and Janalee's overshadowing musical gifts, a lot of you don't know that the Jacksons too have gotten into songwriting. In fact, we put together a little band in honor of this momentous occasion. So would the Jackson Six and the band please come forward? And blue mic on? Good. Okay. You might recognize this tune. Another singing group picked up our song, changed the words, and made it famous. But this is the original. It's called A Very Big House.
Oh, Lord.
We've never practiced this before. I think Jim calls this jamming. The town See what I mean?
My name is Jeremy Bales, and it just seemed what I had to say was really appropriate. A lot of my experience here has been moving the Croegaerts. In fact, the picture they showed of me was one of the worst moments I ever had here. It was in the middle of their move from this little house to the big house over here. And it was really more than I expected. If you ever saw the house they lived on Lee Street, it was a tiny little place. In fact, they had the basement and the top floor, and the Onstutz lived in the center. And more came out of that house than you could ever believe. I mean, I had a lot of experience moving. In fact, as KOG, the guys people used to call me from the church and ask if the movers from KOG would move on their move this week. That's the reputation we had for a while. But he pulled out more stuff the day of the move than I ever saw in my life. In fact, the first time I really met the Croegaerts was on the day you moved from, over to the little house on Lee Street. And that's the first day I talked to Janalee, too. She was so tired that day packing that me and her were left in the house, and she was packing these boxes up, and she couldn't move, so I said, take that, put that box. That's how she was. But I gotta say, by the way, I wanted to mention that Carolyn isn't here because she has a strep throat, and she wanted to be. But over the years, Janalee and Jim and I spent time in small group together, and that's been a big part of my experience here too. And Janalee has been a woman friend who from time to time I've been able to call and talk to, and, get a woman's opinion. When I can't understand what women are saying, I trust what she says. So that's been very important to me. One other experience we had is her and Nita used to go race walking in the morning. And I had first moved here, and nobody knew me, they didn't know me from Adam, and I wanted to do that too because I heard it was healthy to do, but I knew it looked silly. So I wanted someone to do it with, and I asked if they mind if I come along, and they didn't know me, and they thought I was weird. But over the years, you get to know I'll do anything anyway. I was in Hedva for like 5 or 6 years, and a lot of my development as a Christian came in that group, and I was surprised how much I missed the group after I left. Me and Carolyn left to start our own small group. But a lot of my experience together and my growth was with Jim. And I know we were like that scripture of two brothers made of iron sharpening each other. So anyway, glad for you both.
I just want to say what a privilege it is to have been friends with Jim and Janalee and their family for these many years. He's a big help. I'll just carry on as if nothing is happening here. Reasonably, as you can see. But I became acquainted with Jim and Janalee. Jim was actually leading a newcomers group about 20 years ago, which was a very radical idea at Reba Place. I've been sitting on the edges for about a year or so, and they did do a newcomers group, so I met Jim in that. And Jim challenged me. I had a private consultation with Jim, and I planned to talk to him about the appropriateness of Christians smoking marijuana. This was 20 years ago. And we actually ended up talking about more serious matters even than that, and Jim challenged me to make a really radical change in my lifestyle. And I was pretty guilty and ready for it anyway, but as a result of that conversation, I came to evil places, people like to say, and left behind a lot of other things. But just to say that Jim and Janalee have been there for all the kind of major transitional points in my Christian life here. I've been baptized by Jim and Janalee, and premaritally counseled by Jim and Janalee, and married by Jim and Janalee, and supported in this guy coming into our lives. And just very recently, as many of you know, we had a very tragic loss, a very sad loss in our lives. And that Jim was really just such a very dear pastor to me that you just, you know, that Jesus couldn't have been closer to us during that time. So, so thanks, brother and sister. And I'll try and get this out as well.
I'd like to keep this rolling so that we don't hear too much rumbling of the stomachs. The food is waiting, but I'd like to say a thing or two, and Mom and Dad have asked that Anna and Jacob would please come up now. Thanks. Well, I don't know. I don't know, really what to say. Really? But no way. I'm talking now. Anything but that. Okay. As I do want to say a few words. As your son, and on behalf of your other son and your daughter, I just want to thank you and say that we celebrate with you this great occasion, and that you've been more than we could ever ask for in parents. And that I think the main thing that children ask of their parents is for their love and support and all that they choose to do. And all you guys have definitely pointed us and prodded us in various directions. You've always been with us and backed us when we've chosen other ways, our own ways. And we thank you for that now. And I think I speak for the three of us when I say that.
And I just want to say I'm the only one of the three of us thus far who's also been a parent, but I've been complimented many times on my parenting skills, and I just want to say to many of the people here who have complimented me, that's from them.
I guess the last thing before we eat is if anybody from either my mom's or my dad's family wanted to say anything, now would be the time. And if not, then you will say something.
Well, thanks for being my grandma and grandpa.
I don't know exactly what the next thing is. Oh wait, Beth, please.
I am not prepared for this, and I should have known better, but I do want to speak just for three of us. We've certainly enjoyed being brother and sister. And I speak for Joe and Ruth as well. And Janalee is like a sister. So we're happy to be here.
I think she's writing up some directions. So what I'm supposed to say is being written on paper right now. The status of the food is that it's, even now, having the finishing touches put on it. I would like to say that we'd like out-of-town guests, friends and family who have traveled, and also those of you who are from the immediate area but don't normally participate in things at River Place Church. You are guests here as well tonight. And we'd like all of you to have the first crack at the food. We'd also like we'd also like you, all of you parents, to keep your children close to you during the time of eating. Please just enjoy the rest of the evening with us. We will have some live music from the herd, as advertised, and some wonderful food that Karen, Ewan, and others in the back have been preparing. The blessing will be given now, and Linus is going to come up here for that.
Virgil is sick tonight, and we had wanted Linus to be involved anyway, but there's a blessing from the Book of Common Prayer that happens in conjunction with the marriage that Janalee and I both felt would really be appropriate. And so we'd just like to invite you to join with him in this prayer for us.
We ask Jim and Janalee to kneel, and all of you to stand. Most gracious God, we give you thanks for your tender love in sending Jesus Christ to come among us, to be born of a human mother, to make the way of the cross to be the way of life. We thank you also for consecrating the union of man and woman in his name. By the power of your Holy Spirit, pour out the abundance of your blessing upon this man and this woman. Defend them from every enemy. Lead them into all peace. Let their love for each other be a seal upon their hearts, a mantle upon their shoulders, and a crown on their foreheads. Bless them in their walk, their companionship, in their sleeping, and in their waking, in their joys and in their sorrows, in their life and in their death. Finally, in your mercy, bring them to that table where your saints feast forever in your heavenly home. Through Jesus Christ our Lord, who with you and the Holy Spirit lives and reigns, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
I'm assuming there's some sort of a timeline while the food is getting ready, is that right? Karen?
It's pretty much ready to be brought out.
Okay,
So as soon as we finish talking.
all right. What we do here, we sit by the riverside.